I hope the sound is good, is it? All right. So this is my challenge to all the Mohammedan. And I don't want to challenge me hijab. He is, you know, the coward. I call him. He hung up on me anytime. He did not let me talk. He promised a debate, but there's no debate. Did you say that? Hang up on him. Did you say that? Coward. He was very much intimidated. A person who claimed to be like a religious person, but he never even say the word inshallah. And maybe you do not know what the word inshallah mean. God is willing, and Muhammad, he claimed, even if you have sex and you don't have the word inshallah before you do so, you will not accomplish your mission. To the point Muhammad, he claimed, which is a true story by the way, that a prophet of Allah, his name is Solomon, he decided to have sex with 100 women, but he forgot to say inshallah before he have intercourse. What a deadly mistake. So Allah gave him a half child, the whole night having sex with 100 women, which is very normal for Middle Eastern men. As you know, we are very strong. This is why #1 countries in the world who buy Viagra is Middle Eastern, because they are so good in bed. If you don't believe me, you can go and check it out in Google. Like, he is an Egyptian as an example. How much Egypt spent every year? Billions of dollars. A very poor country, yet they have money to spend in Viagra, because nobody can do it. Now, Mimi Hijab, he made this video. It's called Scientific Error. And previously, last week, we made a video showing you. If you don't watch it, go watch it and die laughing. I hope not, but you will laugh for sure. It's called Scientific Errors in Quran Refuted. Okay, well, makes sense. I mean, how he refute the scientific error. Last week we cover some of the of what he said. Like he started with Adam is 60 cubit, and we found the answer very hilarious. You know, just maybe I should remind you that Mimi Hijab is a cartonic person. So, you know, he's a prophet, he's 60 cubic tall, Adam. Just to refresh your memory, just to show you how the stupidity, how those people think, before we start. So I will go there. The first one, there's introduction, and then there is number 30. 540, which means minute 540.
Today, inshallah, we're going to be dealing with a hadith which references Adam alayhi salam, a prophet of Islam, as being 60 cubits tall, which is like 27 meters. And they say this is unbelievable and impossible. But before we get to this hadith, let's talk about the Islamic stance on the theory of evolution. Generally speaking, talking about the theory of evolution, Muslims don't have an issue, or shouldn't really have an issue, with speciation, adaptation, or even evolution of animals, because we believe that there's nothing explicit in the Quran one way or the other. And I actually done a podcast with Abdullah al-Ajairi. Sheikh Abdullah al-Ajairi is a prominent figure in Saudi Arabia who researches these matters and well published in this field. In my discussion with him, this was his opinion. So, which is quite frankly like 99.9% if we look at it from a mass perspective. Really, 9%.
Always 99.9% Muslims agree. And this is why this guy, he will not agree with every single interpretation for the Quran. Remember, 99.9. Yeah. That's why at the end of any interpretation, they say Allah knows best, just to protect themselves from what's coming. Okay, tell us what Al-Ujaidi told you.
99.9% of the theory. The issue we have, we take issue with, or the point of evolution, the slither of which really diametrically opposes some of the Islamic narratives, is human evolution. Now, obviously, we have a narrative. We have a narrative in Islam, which is that
we have holes in the narratives. You forgot what you did with the Yasser Qadi potato? It is you who made it happen. We have holes in the narrative. You don't have narrative. You have a cheese narrative. You know, Italian cheese, full of holes.
Salam was created directly, or this prophet Adam was created directly by Allah, by God Almighty. And there are many things which differentiate human beings from the rest of the animal kingdom.
Did you hear it? The Muslims are discussing if Adam created directly by Allah. Look like Allah, he don't create directly. He hire a contractor. I mean, when you listen to those potatoes, they claim that they believe in oneness of God. They claim that they believe there is one God. And now he is saying the Muslims are arguing about if Adam was created directly or not directly. Teredem, 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 teredem. Hello? Assalamu alaikum. May I talk to Dr. Zakir Naik? You idiot. I'm Zakir Naik talking to you. Okay, Zakir Naik, I'm going to hire you to create for me Adam in indirect contract. Are you busy? Exactly. I'm very busy. And right now I'm speaking to Muslims. So sorry, I'm making a lot of money for YouTube, so I cannot create a human for you. Allah, he created a human indirectly? What the heck is that? And they say to you, we believe in monotheism. So now we have two creators. Allah, he hire, actually Allah isn't the creator then, because if he is not the one who created, he hire somebody. That's a good one. Anyway, more poo-poo to come.
Morality, the ability to question why, you know, this many different language, civilization, and so on and so forth. And it couldn't have been the case, we would argue, that we can actually in any way be equated to
all of this to tell me why Adam is 60 foot tall. What does this have to do with this? I mean, if you are a grandma, with my respect to all a grandmother, and you are 110 years old, and you are suffering from dementia, and you do not know what are you talking about, I understand. I mean, what is this have to do with all that? Just tell us how Adam becomes 60 foot tall. Go to the cheese.
The rest of the animal kingdom, and there's something special about human beings. لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah says in the Quran that he has dignified the children of Adam. So we don't necessarily agree or disagree. We can remain agnostic as to Darwinian evolution with other animals, but as it relates to the human being, there is something special about the human being, and that is why Allah created human being directly. And in this hadith, there's indication that he created Adam is 60 cubits tall. Now the question is, this seems unscientific.
Finally, the question. All of this, it was just shampoo with no soap.
On many grounds. And I'll tell you what, on three major grounds. Number one is biological. Number two is archaeological and or paleontological, we could say as well. From a
big words, look, big words. Science. This is science, brother. Three. There are three words, not four. Trinity. Here we go again. Three. Okay, go ahead. Don't close your eyes, please.
Fossil record perspective. And number three, looking at the kind of disparity in sizes. If we do assume that there was a human being of such great magnitude in terms of size, how can we explain the fact that human beings are like give or take 6 foot tall, give or take, half a meter or whatever it may be, or more, right? But how can you explain this huge disparity in the fact that you're saying that you believe in Adam, who's 27 meters tall, and a human being now, which is, typically anything between 5'5" to 6'5", and obviously there are extremities on both sides of that equation. People that are taller than 6'5", like myself, and people that are shorter than 5'5", like many people. So here, there's two parts.
Finally. It's like a bee. He's going around himself. Okay, finally, what is that? Okay, two possibility.
The hadith which we need to pay attention to, which is the first part of the hadith talks about that Allah created Adam 60 cubits tall. And in terms of hadith, there are some narrations which don't mention this 60 cubits. And there are some narrations that do mention the 60 cubits. But we don't say that just because there are some narrations that don't mention the 60 cubits, that the narrations that do mention the 60 cubits are erroneous. That makes no sense, actually. This doesn't, and some people have attempted to argue that this means that...
Remember, but he is the same person who used the same argument, which he is saying this argument doesn't make sense when we mention to him a different hadith. As an example, if we mention to him that his prophet said that the sun set in muddy hot water in the hadith, what he will say, there's other hadith, it does not mention that. But he just said, We should not follow this method. Doesn't make sense. Continue.
This should be disbanded. No, that doesn't mean that's not how the hadith science works. So that's
this is now its work.
the first thing. Other people say the second part of the hadith, which talks about لم يزل الخلق ينقص حتى الآن, that the creation is becoming smaller and smaller until now. They found it problematic because Ibn Hajar himself, he mentions, how could it be the case that this is happening, right? And we can see Ad and Thamud's kind of indwellings, the archaeological remnants of their indwellings, and we can see that their houses and the doors and so on were not so tall. And he assumed, and without, by the way, nas and evidence, that Ad and Thamud were closer to Adam than they were to us human beings. And obviously the only real evidence we have anything between Nuh and Adam alayhi salam there's no evidence. I mean, there's only Israeliyat or kind of.
Did you hear it? It's only Israeliyat, which means the Muslims, they copy story from the Jews. They have no religion. Any second the Muslim, he tried to search for history, try to find something, he find Israeliyat, which mean not even history. It's fairy tales. Fairy tales. So now what is the answer about the 60 cubit tall? Until now we are waiting.
Biblical narrations. So potentially he was using those to kind of raise his eyebrow, but he did not say that this hadith was mu'allal or defective, as many believe that he did. Now, because of nas reasons or content reasons. Going now forward to answering the contentions.
Finally, I keep saying finally, but never come.
There are variations of this hadith which refer to fis sama, okay, that this was in the heaven. Not heaven as in Jannah, but fis sama. Now, obviously, if you look at the Quranic cosmology, heaven, al-Jannah, is above. Okay, because obviously we know that the Prophet was taken there in the Isra wal-Mi'raj. So it could be the case that this height and this mega size of 27 meters is specific to Jannah, and there's nothing wrong linguistically in believing that, because obviously we believe that Adam alayhi salam, he started his journey, yes, in heaven. I mean, we have a whole narrative where he was in a completely different place, and then Allah, he sent him down to the earth. He sent him.
So, I mean, this is the stupidity. So now Allah, he created Adam 6th floor height in Jannah, brother, in Jannah, not in the earth. So look like Adam, when he went down to earth, I mean, he was like a meteor. He lost his size. He was burning when he get inside the atmosphere. So the first mile of the atmosphere, he lost 1 cubit. Second mile of the atmosphere, 2 cubit. He keeps shrinking because the fat is melting, brother. The fat, brother. So he was 60 cubit in heaven, and Eve, she was the same. Now he went down to the earth, their kids will be the same like them. How in the world this is an answer for anything?
Down to the earth. Yes, he's created from the elements of the earth, but he was in many ways an extraterrestrial because he came from a completely different dimension.
Exactly.
And he came to this earth. Now, in that transition period, could he have shrunk? Could
By the way, this is the first time I hear it, because last time we played, we did not continue to this part. Adam, he shrunk? It's possible that Adam, he shrunk? Are you drunk? What you just said? Adam, he shrunk? Which minute is that? 11:37. What a big poo-poo. Adam, he what? He shrunk. Brother, if there is any religion in the world believe in such a belief except the Muslim trying to duct tape their stupid prophet, so to find a solution, well, here we go. I mean, okay, hold on. How many of you notice that, as an example, you know, like you have a piece of metal in the winter. It's not the same size in the summer. Hello, Adam, he shrunk. Say it again, please. We should put that maybe in like in the intro when we start our video.
And he came to this earth. Now, in that transition period, could he have shrunk? Could Allah have made him smaller? That's also a possibility. We're not.
It's possibility, brother. It's possibility. it's possible. Ah, boy, unbelievable. So you are saying to me you are the shrunk version of the tall Adam. May Allah shrunk you. I see why Muhammad, he says my religion will shrink. Islam started as a small and will end as a small. So now, after all of this, listening to this drama, all this talking to yourself, to tell us that Adam possibly he was shrunk. Did he take like? Did you watch the movie called Alice in the Wonderland? She ate a cheese and she shrunk. Now I know where Adam is coming from. She went down. How she can get in the door? The door is so small. She found the cheese on the table. She grabbed the cheese. She ate it. She shrunk. Bingo. She is in the house. Adam, he shrunk. Okay, what is the second possibility beside Adam was shrunk?
Disregarding that as a possibility, but there's no evidence of that from the Quran and Sunnah. So
there's no evidence. But you see, the Muslim, they say, if it's in the Quran, there's evidence. The Quran is an evidence. A book written by one man. It's an evidence. He didn't even see his God. He did not even hear the voice of his God. He did not even hear the fart of his God. Evidence. There's no evidence, brother. So as long as there is no evidence, why you are saying to us he shrunk, Mr. No Evidence Shrunk Bean? Is that no evidence science?
So we can't say that that is what happened. What we will say is this. Let's assume that Allah, he brought Adam down. He was 60 cubits either in heaven and on earth, or in heaven or on the earth. But let's just assume that he was 60 cubits in heaven and on the earth. So when he came down, he was also 27.
So he did not shrunk. Take a note.
27 meters, which, by the way, now we're starting to make assumptions which we don't necessarily need to make. We can say, no, he was like that height in heaven, and when he came on the earth, he became normal height. That's something you...
But you just said we should not say that, you stupid. Isn't it you a second ago you said you should not say that, and now you are saying we can say that. So can we say it or we cannot say it? By the way, are you relative to Joe Biden? Just a question, because you don't know what you are talking